Welcome to Salem Witch Trials Daily. I'm Josh Hutchinson.
This is Sarah Jack. Today we're looking at a pivotal, chaotic day in the Putnam household, March 14th, 1692.
At this point in the timeline, the community is already on edge, but the accusations against Martha Corey represent a shift. Martha is a covenanted church member, not a marginalized figure. Yet the primary sources we're looking at today paint a picture of absolute domestic bedlam in the Putnam house when Corey arrives. So let's set the scene here. It's March 14th, and Martha Corey is invited by the Putnams. They invite her to come over and talk to Ann Jr. to see if it's really her that's doing the affliction. And Martha comes and says, yeah, this is a way I can prove my innocence. So she arrives at the house, and the description we get is from Edward Putnam's deposition. That's Thomas's brother, who's a deacon in the church. And he describes a scene that feels like some kind of horror movie. It's visceral. Edward claims that as soon as Martha enters, Anne falls into grievous fits. Her tongue is drawn out of her mouth, and her teeth fastened upon it. But then the imagery gets even more surreal, as Anne claims to see a yellow bird sucking between Martha's fingers.
And Edward Putnam claims he saw Martha rub the spot where the bird supposedly was. But when Anne tried to get closer, she was struck blind and couldn't reach Martha.
And it wasn't just Anne. Mercy Lewis, who was about 19 and working at the Putnam house, was also there. And she testified that she was immediately taken with fits the moment Martha arrived.
The violence described in these documents is intense. Abigail Williams testified that Martha's apparition hauled her to and fro, pinched her, and even tried to pull her bowels out.
And Edward Putnam provides a terrifying account of Mercy Lewis being physically moved by unseen forces. He describes her being drawn toward the fire while sitting in a chair. Even with two men holding the chair, she dragged feet first toward the flames. And Edward says he had to use all his strength just to keep her from going into the fire.
There's also this bizarre moment involving a spit at the fire with a man on it. Anne sees Martha turning the spit, and Mercy Lewis tries to strike the apparition with a stick. She's immediately hit back with what Anne describes as an iron rod.
Of course, we have the Devil's Book. It's a recurring theme in these depositions from Mercy, from Abigail, and even involving Elizabeth Proctor, this pressure to sign the Devil's Book.
Abigail Williams claims she was tempted to put her hand in the Devil's Book and even saw Martha Corey at the Devil's Sacrament. Mercy Lewis says she was urged vehemently to write in the book.
This is crucial because it frames Martha Corey not just as a lone actor, but as part of a larger organized diabolical conspiracy, which was the ultimate fear of the Salem magistrates.
The testimonies were formally attested to on May 31st, 1692, showing how the events of mid-March were used to build a solid legal case against Martha Corey and others like Elizabeth Proctor by the time the court was ready to sit.
It's a reminder of how quickly spectral evidence and household chaos turned into a capital legal matter.